Now for a bit of a change in tack. Ian Thorpe is one of our greatest athletes. He's won 5 Olympic gold medals, the most successful athlete at the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney. He's battled with his own mental health issues for a number of years, and now he's on a mission to help others in their own battles. He's meeting with parliamentarians here in Canberra as a patron and board member of youth mental health service ReachOut. And Ian Thorpe is with me here in the studio. Ian, thank you so much for your time. The COVID period has been such a challenge for many of all ages, but certainly for younger Australians as well, hasn't it?
It certainly has. It has been a challenge for young people, and we've seen that in the numbers of people that have been using our services at ReachOut. So we saw an initial increase of 50% on what it had been before. We have 3.6 million people that go to our website. That's continued 30% more people than what we've seen in previous years. So that number has actually continued throughout this period. And we've also seen that the reason why people are going to the site has actually evolved over a period of time. At first, when it came to lockdown, it was around loneliness and things that we associate, very strongly with mental health issues. Now there are concerns around people, with what they're doing, and concerns around money, where their employment's going to come from. And even recently, we've seen things because of how much information and what's been out there around sexual assault. We've seen an enormous increase in that as well, and people using the service for that.
So a big chunk of it, I guess, an underlying theme across a lot of this is uncertainty. Is that a fair way to describe it? Because people don't know what's happening in terms of the pandemic, and uncertainty in terms of the response, and
I think it's
so on.
This is correct. I don't know that it's the response itself. It's the uncertainty around what they don't know their future looks like. We've had JobKeeper, and we know that it is going to end. I think that's increased people's anxiety and their stress around, where am I actually going to find this work? And this is young people that we're talking about. So it may be reflected in what their parents are doing, but also what they see as what their future is going to look like.
Anecdotally, and certainly from my own discussions with Patrick McGorry, the Australian of the Year, former Australian of the Year in Melbourne, he's obviously a big focus on young people as well, that the closure of schools and the fact that kids have been out of school for a fair bit of time, and some young ones have got used to that and then finding the engagement again difficult. That's, I guess, a necessity in the COVID sense, but the mental health impact is huge.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see after this, and we've so far, we've weathered this quite well. All of the mental health services across the country have really had to really pick up what has been out there, and we do know that there are huge concerns within all of the organisations about what is going to happen now. In the long term, kids getting back to school is incredibly important in terms of their social engagement and interaction that they have with each other, because of what that does for mental health in preventing issues arising. But what we do at ReachOut is we have peer-reviewed resources that people can actually find out what they're going through. Because a lot of young people, they won't go and seek that kind of level of clinical support that we think is the right answer, and what we've been doing in the past. After family and friends, the first place that young people will go to, and when I say young people, I'm talking about people 14 to 25, is the internet. So 70% won't go and see the doctor. And so we need good resources to be able to continue the services that we do at ReachOut. And that's why I've been down here in Canberra, going around to the politicians, on both sides, the senators, people in the House of Reps, to make sure that we have support. And we've heard from the Prime Minister previously that he has a commitment to mental health and would like to see a reduction in youth suicide as a priority. And we want to make sure that we keep up with what has been a huge increase in the number of people using our services.
Yeah, well, good on you for doing that, and we wish you all the best on that front. I guess when young people see, the great Ian Thorpe and think, well, how could he have had sort of mental health problems? How do you relate to not just young people, Australians generally, when people say that to you? I mean, you've competed at the highest level and won so many medals at all sorts of championships, including the Olympics, and yet there's a challenge that you're faced on that front.
Absolutely, and we see this, and it shows that it can affect anyone. And we also know that, with athletes, there's actually a higher percentage of people that have a mental health concern or issue than what there is in the wider population. So for young people, for everyone out there in the community, it can happen to a friend, it can happen to a family member. And we have the resources to be able to help you out on what is your mental health journey. And whether you're a parent, you can go to ReachOut. There's resources for you. If you're a young person that happens to be struggling at this moment in time, there's things that you can learn about how you can mitigate some of the problems.
I know you've got to go, but just finally on a much brighter note, anyone we should look out for at the Olympics in terms of the Australian swimming team?
Well, it's kind of, it's been delayed now, but, it's going to be a very difficult Olympics to be able to call who our favourites are. In the swimming...
Mac Howell?
Well, Mac could be up there, but I don't know what the rest of the world's been doing as well. But Ariarne Titmus will be up against the greatest female swimmer in history and one of the greatest swimmers ever. And she's the one to watch out for. If you're going to put a bet on, I'd put my money on her.
Okay. Well, it's lovely to see you and well done. We wish you all the best
Cheers, thanks.
with your initiatives. Thanks, Ian.